right, so we're going to take a look at parallel versus perpendicular lines. Okay, so parallel lines, what I want you to think of is think railway tracks. Okay, so parallel lines, think railway tracks. And what can you tell me about railway tracks? They never meet. Okay, so when you're looking at parallel, you're looking at lines that are like railway tracks, they never meet. Meaning, if one curves left, the other one's also going to curve left in the exact same way. All right, so parallel never meets. When you're thinking perpendicular lines, I want you to think about these are lines that meet at 90 degrees. And it has to be 90 degrees, okay? They meet at 90 degrees. And to confirm that they meet at 90 degrees, what you can do is that the slope product, and all that product means is when you multiply the slopes together, the slope product is equal to -1. All right. Again, that just means when you multiply the two slopes together and you get -1, you know that they meet at 90 degrees. Okay, so perpendicular lines like this meet at 90 degrees. Okay, so 90 degrees. So to double check that when you do this question, multiply the two slopes that you get right here. And if you get -1, then it's perpendicular. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to be doing two different things, and you're going to pick the one that you like. We're going to be doing it by hand, all right, and by decimals, by calculator. And honestly, I don't mind whichever one, as long as you can show me what you did, I'm okay with it. So first one I'll do is I'll do by hand, okay? So by hand, find a point where the line goes through the corner, okay? So I'm going to do example 2, and you guys are going to do example 1. So find a point where the line goes through the corner. So here's a point right here. All right, so here's a point as starts at -3. Then count, rise over, run until you get to another point. Okay, now very careful. When you start to count, you don't count 1 over here. You have not moved. This is not 1, this is 0. You count 1 when you move. So first let me identify another corner. So if I go through here, the next corner is right here. So I'm going to put it right there, okay? So I'm going from here to here, but I'm going to rise and then run, okay? I'm going to rise and then run. And again, you are not starting at 1, you start 0, 1, okay? So 1, 2, 3. I rise +3. Now it's important to also put the direction that you rise because that's going to matter in terms of what the slope is. So I rise +3, I'm right here. Now I'm going to run to this point right here. Now if I run this way, I'm running to the left, so that's negative. And again, you don't start counting 1. You count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm running left 4, and that's represented by -4. So when I go ahead and write this slope, it's going to be 3 over -4, which is going to simplify, and I'm going to add something here actually. Put in calculator to simplify. All right, and the reason I say that is sometimes the 2 points that you pick might not be right next to each other, and it might simplify to some other number. Okay, so this simplifies to -3 over 4. What is your y-intercept? I'm going through. Where does it cross the y-axis? At -3. All right. What is the slope for D? So we're going to repeat that process. Okay, find a point where it goes through. Actually, I'm going to use the calculator to do this one. So I did this by hand. Now I'm going to use the calculator. It says find 2 points and put it in the table. All right, so find 2 points. I need to find 2 points. Here is a point right here. So I'm looking for corners. All right, the next corner is right here. Okay, so those are my 2 points. So this one is -8. So remember, in terms of points, you're going to find x and then y. So this is going to be -8, and then I don't move in the y direction, so it's going to be 0. So -8 and 0, that's my first point. This point right here, x first, -4, and then -3 in the y direction. -4, -3. All right, now that I've done it in the table, I'm going to type y1. Now, remember, I'm only writing y1 here, but it really just depends on what's in the table there. So x1, y1, so that's fine. So we're going to type y1 squiggly line. All right, so you can do shift, and then right underneath escape is a squiggly line, or you can press ABC, and it's right here. All right, mx1 plus b. All right, look at m for the slope. So now I'm looking for m. What is the slope? It is a fraction, and it is a decimal, and how do I make decimals into fractions? I put it in, so type it in exactly, and then make it a fraction by clicking the fraction bar. All right, so slope is also -3/4. All right, and my y-intercept for D is, what is across the y-axis, I'm sorry, -6. Okay, so again, two different ways that we could do it. We could do it by hand or by calculator. I'm going to do both. That way you get to pick the one that you like to do. Just remember, if you're doing by hand and you're counting, do not count 1. You start 0, 1, 2. So I'm going to double confirm that. So look, I'm going to check that this slope is indeed -3/4. So watch me count that. 0, 1, 2, 3. Then 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Same slope. All right, so go ahead and pause the video and do example 1. Once you complete example 1, complete the sentence. Parallel lines have the blank slope and blank y-intercept. So you're going to look at the slopes here, the y-intercepts here, the y-intercepts here, and complete that sentence. All right, so I'm just going to go a little bit faster now. So again, find 2 points, 2 corners. So here's a corner right here. And here's another corner right here. All right, so now we're going to rise and run. So rise is y, so I'm going to rise 1. That's +1. And I don't need to run. I don't need to go left or right because I've arrived at the point, right? So this is going to be +1, and then my run is 0. Now, I'm going to put this in the calculator in case you do not know what happens when you try to divide by 0 in the calculator. So I'm going to put +1 divided by 0. What happens? It's undefined. Okay, so the slope of E is undefined. Okay. Now I'm going to show you the calculator method, find 2 points. So I'm going to get a point from right here. This is x first, -5, then y, -2. So this point is -5, -2. And then I'm going to get a point over here, which is going to be x first, 1, and then y, -2. So this is 1, -2. All right, put it in the calculator in the table. So -5, -2. 1, -2, y squiggly line, right? So y1 squiggly line, mx1 plus b. All right. Oh, I forgot the 1 right here. So just be careful what you're typing. And then m is your slope. What does it say? Slope is m is 0. All right. So be careful with straight lines. If it's vertical, it's always going to be undefined, because if you try, the way I remember this is this: if you're standing over here on the top of a cliff and you jump off, you're going to splatter and be undefined. All right, but if you are on this horizontal line, you're not moving. There's no hill, there's no any kind of way you can get any traction, so that's 0. All right, so you can memorize that, or of course you can use a calculator. All right, my y-intercept for point E, where it crosses the y-axis, it doesn't, so none. My y-intercept for line F, it crosses at -2. All right, so again, please pause the video. Actually, you don't need to pause the video at the end. Complete this, and then finish this sentence. Perpendicular lines have slopes that you have to blank and blank the blank. The y-intercept can be different or the same, because if you're looking right here, so the y-intercept is different, but here I can see the y-intercept is the same. All right, whenever this is what you're going to put in your own words in these 2 blanks, but in math terms, I'm going to tell you what it's called. It's called the reciprocal. Now, is it A or O? I think it's A. Okay, reciprocal. It might be an O, I'm not sure. All right, and that's it. Let's practice. Let's practice.